Liverpool nil on a day of utter frustration at the King Power. For Jurgen Klopp, for the lads, for us as Liverpool fans, I don't even know where to start with this one. Firstly, let me start off by congratulating Leicester on the win. They fought really hard, defended deep, and played for the badge and worked their asses off. So full credit to them with everything that was against them with regards to the COVID, the injuries, the fact that they had the game on Boxing Day. So let me start off by giving Brendan Rodgers and Leicester credit for the victory today. You know, we didn't take our chances. Lookman came on, took his. Full credit to them. So let's start off with that one. Now we move on to our side of it, the Liverpool side of it. And I just got to say that it's more of the same with regards to frustration when we can't break down teams that defend deep and put their bodies on the line. And there was just so many occasions in that second half in particular where we put balls into the 6-yard box and their defenders wanted it more than our attackers. And we just didn't look at the races in the final third today. And I don't know which way to go with this. Do I talk about the fact that we haven't strengthened? Do I talk about fatigue? Do I talk about tactics? You could pick any of the above, I think, and you could make a valid conversation, a valid point about why we had our asses handed to us here at the end of that game, and it was embarrassing and it was frustrating, and we're better than that, and we should have won the game. I'm not going to call out Mo for missing a penalty, because shit happens. You miss penalties, you step up to take them, you're going to miss them eventually. So that's unfortunate and it's annoying, and he should have scored the rebound. But ultimately, Salah was anonymous today. Mane, he just can't score at the minute, can he? He just cannot score at the minute, and we have to have the awkward conversations now about shaking up the front three and making a change and adding to the squad and freshening it up a bit, because whatever we say, that's going to be very, 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 very difficult now to haul back in 6 points on Manchester City, who are looking as good as they are, who are scoring goals for fun, who have a really strong squad, who aren't going to lose too many players to the AFCON. It's going to be difficult. You never say never in football, and of course we'll keep backing the lads, believing and hoping for a miracle, but we've given ourselves a massive uphill task now with the lads heading off to the AFCON soon, and it's just, look, it's not good enough today. They know that. You don't need me to come on here shouting and screaming and telling you it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough. Ace the Gamer, who I think is a City fan, said, the title race is over for you now, or do you think you can still come back? I mean, look, football, you never rule out anything, but would I put any money on a comeback? Nah. I mean, City to me were already favourites for it, and this probably just, it'll give them the little pep in their step, you know, pun intended, that they will need for the rest of the season. And, you know, one thing we've learned from, you know, competing against Guardiola teams, and Man City in particular, obviously, is that they like to accumulate points, they like to be front runners, and when they are front runners, they're very, very difficult to peg back. And we had a rest. We have no excuse for that today. None. Like, if anyone has the fatigue excuse, it's Brendan Rodgers and Leicester City. Now, they played us, and they played on Boxing Day, and then they played today. Our game was postponed. We had plenty of time to prepare for this game. We should have been the fresher team out there. And look, we were the better team, but that doesn't matter. The only stat that matters is the scoreboard. Said it time and time again in football. All the possession, all the territory, all the chances, it means nothing. The only thing that matters is the scoreboard. At the end of that game, we've missed, I don't know how many chances, due to some good goalkeeping, some poor finishing, some poor decision making, and it just ends on us all being frustrated. And I'm trying not to be overreactionary here or to overreact, but I can't help but talk about the substitutions if I can. So let's start off with that one. I don't understand, in a game where we were dominating the ball, why that first set of substitutions came about the way it did. For me, and this is just my opinion, if you're going to sacrifice Fabinho anyway, which Klopp eventually did, then just make that change for Naby Keita. Put Keita on, tell Henderson to sit back into the 6 if needs be, and bring Fabinho off. I don't understand the James Milner part of this. I don't get it. I don't. And why it took him so long to get Firmino on as well, I don't know. But then again, when Firmino did come on, he didn't really impact the game at all. So look, the credit has to go to Leicester. Fair play to Lookman. I mean, if you look back at the goal, it was great from Ademola Lookman. I mean, he started it off, gave the ball, continued his run, got the ball back, burst into the penalty area and scored. We should have defended it better, but he deserves credit for the chance, and Leicester deserve immense credit for the way that they defended. I'm going to hand it over to the chat for a while while I still process this, because I don't want to say anything on the back of one defeat. You know, we've lost 2 games in the league this season, but it is a similar frustration, isn't it? Where we dominate the ball and we just don't have that guile, that creativity, that spark in the final third. So do we need that, I was going to say that Coutinho-esque type player, that but we have Thiago. He just wasn't there today, so it's difficult to gauge all of this. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to hand it over to the chat. Lee Chappie, how are you, Lee? Congratulations on the win, my man. Said nobody was expecting that. Wish you a happy New Year. Much love. Thank you, Lee. Same to you. And look, your lads fought today for that win, mate. You know, nothing against you guys today. You took your chance, defended well, fair play. It's just really frustrating for us, as you can imagine. But I appreciate that, Lee. Gentle as always, and all the best to you and the family as well, mate. Happy New Year. Look, I know there's going to be a lot of reactionary stuff in the chat towards Mane, and I understand the frustration. I do. But I don't want to go down the route of castigating anybody here, because at the end of the day, nobody really took the game by the scruff of the neck today. We can talk about Mane missing the chance, which he should have scored, and he knows that. Doesn't need me to tell him that. Salah didn't really get many opportunities to get yet again, and I don't know if this is becoming a bit of a worry, because we're not being able to get him involved in the games, because I don't want to say it's because he's been bad, because I don't think he necessarily has. I just don't think we're finding ways to get him involved in the game enough at the minute, or maybe he's just been marked out with him. But I'm just looking at this Sadio miss now, and I'm sorry, there is just no excuse for it. You've got to at least make the keeper make the save. But as the first half went on, it just felt like one of them days, didn't it? James O'Mahony said, Craig, I think the title is over with this loss. There was no urgency, and now we go away to Chelsea. We need more game changers. I mean, privately, James, I would probably think the same. You know, when I'm posting the channel, I want to try and be as optimistic as I can. But, you know, if I'm being really honest with you, James, I feel like, and I said it before the game, that probably was it today. If we didn't get the 3 points, never say never, but it's going to be incredibly difficult to wrestle this back from Manchester City now, for ourselves or Chelsea or anybody in the chasing pack. And we're going to lose the lads to the AFCON, and we're going to have less attacking options than we currently have. Yeah, I don't want to go with it. I'm going to just read out some comments. Joe said, how many times have we seen the same game? Insert team name. Beats our press with a simple outlet, poor passing and poor finishing. Sub for Milner. I thought the Milner thing, Joe, I'm absolutely lost at that Milner substitution. I mean, most of the time I can appreciate what Klopp's trying to do, but I just don't get that one. And look, maybe I've missed something really obvious here, and I'm not trying to second guess Jurgen Klopp, but I don't get it. I just don't get it. Yeah, it is what it is. City put 6 past this team. I don't know how that's relevant, though, to be fair. You know, on any given day, a team can beat another team by 2 goals, 4 goals, 6 goals. I mean, at the end of the day, what only matters to me and Liverpool fans right now is that we didn't win that game today. If we win it 1-0 or 6-0, I don't think many of us would care. It's just about trying to get the points. And today, we just looked devoid of ideas in the final third. And most alarmingly for me today was that and I very rarely ever say this about Liverpool players, but I think they let their heads drop today. And of all the things that I've maybe critiqued this group for over the past few years when we've had bad games, I've never seen them lose belief in a game. And today I really felt like they let their heads drop. Yeah, and look, it's important to acknowledge as well that for all the players on both teams and right throughout the league, and the managers and the coaching staff right now, is really difficult times for them to be trying to guide teams through the fixtures with what's going on with COVID and stuff. But if we're being honest about it, and you know I like to speak openly and honestly, if there is a team today that had an excuse, it was Leicester, not us. They had tired legs. They played against City in a 6-3 game that would have taken a lot out of them. And they still were able to turn it around today and defend manfully, defend with their lives on the line at times. And they wanted it more than we do. And that's the worrying thing for me, is that one thing we always say about this Liverpool group is they never give up. They keep going, they keep going, keep going. And look, of course we kept going today, but we looked beaten. We looked beaten at a point, and that worries me. It worries me. And then you add into that, of course, the contractual situation with 5 of our lads that have 18 months to go, and you start wondering, what's the plan? What's the aim? Because every transfer window that goes by, we're left feeling frustrated and disappointed, or we hear Klopp come out and speak about how can we improve this squad. I love Jurgen Klopp dearly, but I don't believe he believes that, to be honest with you. I don't. But this is the world we live in, folks. This is the race we're in. We're up against a good Manchester City team, a good Chelsea team, and we have to be at our best every single week. This league doesn't take prisoners. You either show up or you get beat. And we got beat today, and we got to take it on the chin and congratulate Leicester. But it doesn't stop it being fucking frustrating, does it? And it doesn't stop us getting really annoyed. But look, I haven't given a shout out to our sponsors yet, by the way, of today's content, Surfshark. You can get 83% off and 3 months additional free by using the link in the lower or the code Anfield Agenda at checkout. Surfshark is the best VPN out there. So if you're looking for a VPN for some of the games over Christmas or whatever, Surfshark, link in the description. Thank you to them for their support. Right, let's go on to some of the comments. Shut up about replacing Sadio, so reactionary. It isn't reactionary though, Jude, and I don't know if that was aimed at me or somebody else, mate, because I certainly don't think I was reactionary towards Sadio. If anything, I've defended Sadio a lot. But it isn't reactionary, mate, when it becomes a reoccurring theme. So, you know, if he missed a chance today and people were saying, but he, you know, he's been struggling. Last season, by his own account, he didn't have a great season, albeit not many of the lads did, in fairness. It was a very disjointed season. But this season, you know, he hasn't got shooting boots on. And when you want to be one of the front three at Liverpool Football Club, and you want to be challenging for the Premier League, and you want to be challenging for the Champions League, and you want to be winning trophies, you got to take these chances, or you're going to get called out in them. And that's, as fans, I think people have a right to feel a little bit pissed off and annoyed by that, because we should have won that game, and should have won that game quite easily. It's just really annoying, because it's like, we know how good City are, and we know what we're up against. We know what we're up against with their squad. We know what we're up against financially. And you've got to be near perfect to wrestle the title away from them. So when you've got days like today, it just kind of rams home the task that we have, or that anybody has. And it's tough. It's tough, but there's still a lot to play for this season, and many games to go, many twists and turns. But I don't want to hear that we don't need to strengthen, because nobody believes that anymore. We don't. We love the lads. We love the effort. We love what they've done. We love what they'll continue to do. But don't fucking piss in the tent and tell me it's raining. Like, we know we need a midfielder. We know we need another attacking option. So I know. I just hope that we hear Klopp speaking about maybe needing an addition or two. I know he has to play the team game. I know he has to look out for the entire club as a whole, and he can't be reactionary like we are as fans, but there is such a thing as getting stale, and there is such a thing as, you know, repeating the same patterns over and over again, and coming up frustrated. So look, I don't know, I don't want to go all in here, but it is fucking frustrating. It is. Somebody said another VPN is better. No, they're not. The ones that sponsor us are better. End of conversation. Because they sponsor us. Huh? Did you get it? If the others want to put money in my pocket, perhaps. But yeah, I'm only winding you up, my man. We're in danger of falling in a top 4 race. I don't think that's the case. I mean, yeah, no, I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to finish second or third, and I think there will be a gap to 4th, but Leon Blanche, how are you, Leon? Said, in my opinion, we had enough chances to win it, didn't take them, have to move on. Chelsea and Sunday, keep going, you never walk alone. Unfortunately, Mane's having a terrible run. Yep, Leon, I can't disagree with you, mate. You got to keep trucking on, got to keep our heads up, got to keep moving forward. And yeah, it's difficult, because I'd liken Mane to having a poor run to, you know, finding out your dad isn't perfect. You know, I know that's a weird analogy, but I look at these lads like heroes. You look at them like heroes. So when your hero isn't performing, it's really difficult to take. And that's kind of how I feel about Mane. I've no doubt about his quality. I've no doubt about the man as a man. But it is just... It's so hurting and disheartening because we want it so badly for him as well as us. And it's just not working out, is it, at the minute? I mean, somebody else in defensive right back, please. I mean, I thought Trent was brilliant at times today, in all honesty. The people say he was terrible. I mean, we could have defended Lookman better in that situation. Absolutely. No argument there. Full credit to him for what he did. But could we have defended the situation better? Absolutely. But I don't want to go in on Trent. Trent was brilliant today at times. Some of his passing was exquisite. Switching the ball, giving us different options of attack. If we're looking for a fault and critique today, it's at the other end of the pitch. It's the front three. They didn't let us down. That's not what I'm trying to say, but they had a bad day, an off day. What have we got? That was on Trent for that goal. I have to watch it back, Louis. Again, it was in his position on the pitch. It was on the right side, no doubt about it. And look, I only seen the replay once, so I haven't really had a chance to look back on it and see how far out of position he was. So I'm taking it at face value that you guys are right and he was out of position. But that's one of the things that we have to understand with the way Klopp wants his fullbacks to play, is that if we turn over possession, we are vulnerable to being attacked. It's a trait of the way we play, and it's only a negative for me when we give the ball away. And we give the ball away too often for my liking in the final third, and not by being tackled, or it's misplaced passes a lot of the time, or just the wrong decision. It's frustrating, but we are talking about the 1%ers here, the very top level. But again, people saying he didn't chase back. If that's the case, absolutely he should have chased. I mean, I screamed the other day at him, I think, for not bursting his gut to get back. So yeah, look, if that's it, that's it. Fair enough. If we didn't have found well enough, absolutely, that's on the table for discussion. But at the other end of the pitch, I mean, they created, I think they had one shot on target in the game, if my memory's not wrong, maybe two. And Kasper Schmeichel had some saves to make, particularly in the first half, but nowhere near enough for my liking. What did you think about bringing Milner on, said Owen Jones? Nothing against Jimmy Milner, but I don't understand what the plan was. We're chasing a game. We don't probably need Fabinho on the pitch in the normal sense that we'd need Fabinho on the pitch, because when you're losing like that and the clock's against, you've got to start taking chances. You've got to start getting forward in more numbers. So if you're going to make the change, bring Naby Keita on, take Fabinho off, and just drop Henderson back in to cover when needs be. I didn't understand the Milner move. Now, I could be missing something really obvious here, but for me it didn't make any sense. And look, he brought Firmino on, but he didn't impact the game at all. And again, not trying to have a go at Bobby there, but he didn't. Super chat here from Chaos Joker said, I think the title was always going to be a big ask this season, especially after this defeat and the AFCON problem. Pep has probably got to be smiling to himself now. Yeah, I'm sure he is, mate. I'm sure he's all Manchester City. I mean, it's the other way around. We'd be feeling quite good about life right now, wouldn't we? So, yeah, it's an uphill task. You're right, and we still have a lot to play for this season. But I think, can I make an assumption? And you guys can chat and tell me if I'm right or wrong. But one of my biggest fears as a Liverpool fan under Jurgen Klopp has been that we get to the end of Jurgen Klopp's time at Liverpool and we talk about this superstar group of players and a great period during our club, and for me the best football that I've seen in my lifetime watching Liverpool. But my fear is, and again this is where I want you guys to let me know your opinion, is that we look back on 2024 and Jurgen Klopp's time here and have one league title and one Champions League, which in itself is brilliant, but with the group that we have and the manager that we have, it'll feel like a chance missed. It'll feel like we could have had 3-4 more trophies there with a little bit more investment, with a little bit more, I don't know if ambition is the right word from the owners, but it'll certainly feel like a massive missed opportunity to really push on. And I don't know if Klopp genuinely is happy with the squad, but I'd like to think that he's just doing the, proper PR work and just saying the right things publicly, but behind the scenes he's saying, get me X, get me Y. But has anybody else got that fear that, Klopp's time finishes at Liverpool and we look back at this and go, how do we not win more trophies? It's like finishing second place to Manchester City and getting 97 points. Oh, that's not worth anything other than the memories and the great nights that we had. But, clubs exist to win trophies, and when we were all kids growing up watching Liverpool or whoever it was you watched, you want to see your captain lifting a trophy, and they're the memories that we have, which is why I was so adamant I wanted to win the League Cup, and I still do, because it's a trophy. And we want to see the Hendo Shuffle. We want to see Klopp finish up his time with as many trophies and medals as possible. Nobody remembers second. That is true. It is true. Look, we can talk about how great they were. We can talk about how close we got and all of this stuff. But ultimately, you're right. Nobody remembers second. And that's what we're talking about, an elite sport. That's the level we're at. And this is what we're up against. So, yeah. It's true. Craig, would you be happy with a Carabao Cup and a Champions League? 100%. Every season, priority number one for me is the Champions League. Always is. Because I love the European Cup. And I think, Liverpool and our affinity with that competition is amazing. The league title was a problem. Of course it was a problem. With 30 years without a league title, far too long for a club of the size of Liverpool. So once we got that monkey off our back, I think, yeah, let's go now. This is going to be the catalyst to push on. And I can't help but feel it's just that little lack of investment in the playing squad. Because we don't need much. We're 95% of the way there. Rav said, have to take our hats off to Leicester. They worked hard for that. 100%. They did. They worked their asses off for that one. Defended well. Fought hard for it. Yeah, I can't disagree with you. Craig, try being a Man United fan. You wouldn't last one day. Well, to be fair, mate, I grew up surrounded by United fans celebrating winning league titles, doubles, a lot of stuff during my time growing up, man. So, with all due respect, I don't really have much sympathy for United fans who are going through a little period of time without success at the minute, because my time growing up was being hounded by my United supporting mates and absolutely bantered. So, yeah, I'm not going to get much frustration from me from that one. Olivia said Matip was brilliant. What are your thoughts? Yeah, well, I think Matip maybe could have defended a bit better, but he could have had help from Trent, definitely, for the goal. But all in all, yes, I love Joel Matip. I mean, his little bursts forward again today, exceptional, getting into the opposition penalty area, giving them something to think about. I don't know. No matter what we say today, we're all just going to come around in a circle and just feel frustrated, isn't it? Like, no matter what, there's no answer. There's no answer you can give in the chat or I can give here now that's going to stop us all from feeling shitty and terrible and annoyed and frustrated. And yeah, it's one of them things. All I just say is, don't go on social media and overreact at the minute, because it's frustrating, but we need to try and stay together, because there's still a lot to play for and fight for this season. And it's a competitive league with great squads, great managers, great teams in it, and it's a fight all the time, and we've got to be up for that fight. What are your thoughts on Kingsley Coman? I think it'd be amazing for us. I'd be a bit concerned about his injury scenario. And I don't know if he's adamant on moving away from Bayern Munich, but we'll have to wait and see. We were linked with him after the Euros as well. People saying Mane is finished. I think. Well, let me put this to the chat. Let me put this to you guys before we finish up. Of the front three now, we know that they all have 18 months to go. We know the priority is to give Mo a new deal. So of Mane and Firmino, who goes? Because there's no way all three are getting renewed. I just think that doesn't make any sense from an age perspective. So who goes? Who's the one that we either cash in on, or the one that doesn't get the contract renewed and we let it run down? Because right now, everybody's emotions probably going to say Mane. And it might change in a couple of weeks' time. But I do feel like if we are to replace one of the three, the easiest to replace, to me, would be Mane, because there's a lot of tricky, attack-minded, wide players, whereas I don't feel like somebody with Bobby's attributes, when he's on song, is easy enough to find. And look, you don't find Mohamed Salah every day of the week either. So if we have to make these difficult decisions, I think Mane for me would be the one. And it's not just because of today's miss. It's not because of that. It's because I think he's probably easier to... I think he's the most likely to start declining as well, if I'm being honest, because we're getting to that 29-30 age bracket. Marita Firmino's did nothing since we come back from his injury. Well, look, he certainly lost out in the battle to Diogo Jota for the starting spot at the minute. I think Diogo is definitely the go-to through the middle at the moment. Slim J says Mane. Bobby over Mane overall, I'd say, said Yasmin. Mane just doesn't look like he belongs, said Matthias. Mane and Bobby out, Raphinha and Danjuma in. Well, we're certainly interested in the two names you've mentioned there, as well as Jared Bowen. He's been declining since the first lockdown, said Richard. Or excuse me, Ricky, excuse me, mate. Craig, how would you feel if we only win the Champions League? Well, look, you're never going to be angry in a season if you win the Champions League, are you? So yeah, if you said to me now, Craig, you're gonna have the Champions League and nothing else, I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? Someone saying Bowen, hell nah. I don't know if you've got an inbuilt bias against Bowen because he doesn't come from a sexy club, or he's English, but there's a lot of great attributes to the way Jared Bowen plays that would fit into our system. Mane out, give Origi some run out. He's injured, mate. Divock wasn't even fit enough to be on the bench today, unfortunately. Yeah, he's still injured. Ivan Toney would be a good option. Look at his goal scoring record so far in the Premier League, to be fair. He hasn't exactly hit the ground running. Really hard worker, Ivan Toney. Certainly would love to play for Liverpool, no doubt about that. But, I mean, I'm not going to say that I think that Ivan Toney would be a good replacement for Sadio Mane. Through the centre, maybe. Mane's been frustrating me. I think he's been frustrating everybody, and I'm sure he's frustrating himself, my man. That chance, the least you got to do there is make Kasper Schmeichel make a save, but I don't know. Yeah, I went to say Carabao Cup instead of the Champions League. If we just won a Carabao Cup, I mean, it's still a trophy, and I'd rather win a trophy than not win a trophy, but it would certainly be well behind the priorities of the Premier League and the Champions League. But it's still a trophy, and I want to win the League Cup like you do. We badly need some fresh legs in the squad. John Henry needs to suspend. I agree with that, Red Man. We do. We need... Klopp said it himself. If you remember when Klopp came to the club first and we were doing some transfer business, he said that ideally every year you want to bring in a couple of new faces because it freshens things up in the changing room. It freshens things up with regards to the challenges for squad places, and it lifts and elevates everybody around them because competition increases, standards. Because, if you're not performing, there's somebody there to take your shirt. So I agree with that. We do need to freshen it up. And also I'm a little bit concerned / frustrated at why, when we're not able to get Salah involved in the game, we just keep him stuck out on the right hand side. We don't change it up. We don't try and move him to the left or central or drop him back into a pocket behind to get more involved in the game. It just seems to be just keep feeding the ball into the right channel and hope that eventually he'll cut in onto his left foot and get a goal. And it hasn't happened a lot lately because teams have been either marking him out of the game or we haven't been able to get him involved in it enough. But it frustrates me that we don't seem to have a plan B in those occasions. And look, how many times since, let's go right back to 13-14, have we spoke about this struggle, not taking our chances in the first half, playing against a team that are defending really well and really deep, like their lives are on the line, and getting suckered on a counter-attack and conceding a goal. We've seen this play out so many times, and there's only so many times you can share the same frustrations and the same anger and the same disappointment before we have to start really asking some questions. And no matter what Klopp says, I love him and I'll always be behind him 100%. But I cannot understand or accept that he doesn't think we need to shake it up with regards to some incomings and some changes. I know he loves the lads. I know it's a special group. I know they all have I understand that, and I don't want him to throw anybody under a bus. But I do want him to start putting a bit of pressure on the owners to say, look, we need to shake this up a bit. Look what we're competing against. A City team that can spend 100 million on Grealish and he doesn't even start every week. Chelsea can go out there and bring in a Romelu Lukaku, a Kai Havertz. We need to start acting like a big club and stop hoping for miracles all the time from Klopp and the recruitment staff, because they've played a blinder. They've brought in some great players. I just don't feel like they've had enough support from the owners financially. Need to splash some cash, says Blaze. Yep. Sell Keita, bring in Maddison. What the fuck, Maddison? Don't want him anywhere near Liverpool. Read up about Maddison and his attitude. Don't want him near Liverpool. I tell you, I'd take Yuri Tielemans though. I would take Yuri Tielemans. But it's very well and good you, me, or anybody else sitting here saying sell this player, sell that player. There has to be a willing buyer. So like, if we were to move Naby on, who has 18 months left on his own deal, you know, how much are we going to get from? Who's going to buy him? Tough questions, I know, but yeah, it is what it is. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go anyway, and keep an eye out, because James Redmond's going to be sending in a match reaction video, and I think a couple of the other guys as well. So look, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be live earlier on in the day, and then I'll be on Twitch tomorrow night for the Brentford City game, which I was hoping, you know, we were going to pray for a miracle and maybe put some pressure back on City, but after today, they're probably going to have a little boost in their step now tomorrow after seeing us falter again. So look, it is frustrating. Happy New Year to all of you. I'm sure I'll see you back real soon. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you head off. Drop a like on the video as well. And yeah, wasn't our day today. Congratulations to Leicester, and look, we'll come again.